A surprising discovery for deputies when they served a warrant. We'll show you what they found in a wanted man's car. A broken water main floods roads near a Lexington neighborhood. We'll show you what caused the break. And lawmakers debate arming service members who work in recruiting centers. We'll take a look at both sides of the issue.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon and thanks for watching. A surprising discovery for deputies with a warrant when they went to arrest a man.
They discovered the man had a car full of weapons. Now they're trying to figure out exactly what the man was doing with all of them. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is in Knox County tracking the investigation in our top story at 4:30.
That routine traffic stop was anything but routine for deputies here in Knox County, finding an arsenal inside of that suspect's vehicle. Deputies say they are prepared for anything when serving warrants. That was certainly true when a routine stop led to all of this. The Knox County Sheriff's Office had been looking for Jesse Williams Davis for several days. Then yesterday he was seen parked on the side of the road in the Artemis area, so deputies made a traffic stop to serve that warrant. Deputies say as they got to Davis's vehicle, they found several firearms inside, fully armed magazines and other ammo, as well as a billy club and a hatchet.
He complied to everything that we asked, answered all of our questions. He did say that there was a rifle underneath the back seat. That rifle was an AK-47 and it was loaded also, had a fully armed magazine for that rifle.
Davis told deputies his father recently died and he was working to sell all of this that did belong to his father. Thankful this all ended the way it did after deputies say this was certainly a very scary situation. But coming up at 5:30, hear about something else found inside that vehicle that they say caused even more concern. In Knox County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Davis faces several charges, including being a convicted felon in possession of firearms. His girlfriend, Lacey Messer, was also arrested at the scene for public intoxication and possession of drug paraphernalia.
A water main break causing quite a problem in a Lexington neighborhood earlier today. The water main flooded a nearby intersection and left behind a big mess. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain shows us what caused the problem.
There was a water main break at about 9 o'clock this morning. You should have seen the scene when we pulled up. The water was gushing out of the road.
At 9 o'clock this morning, crews were called out to Call Drive near Winchester Road in Lexington as water gushed out of a large hole in the road. The water was shut off about an hour later, but the mess was made and crews began the cleanup process. You can see the hole is about 5 feet deep, and that's where Kentucky American Water Company found a fire hydrant. The water company says someone hit the hydrant, which is connected to an 8-inch water main.
We have well over 8,000 fire hydrants that we manage throughout our service area, so there's a lot of them, but unfortunately occasionally something like this will happen and someone will hit one.
The cleanup process and the damage to repairs should be done by the end of the day. In Lexington, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
4 homes were without power for a couple of hours this morning. No businesses were affected. Fire damaged a Lexington home overnight. The fire started just before midnight on Valhalla Drive off of Squires Road. It started in the kitchen. Firefighters quickly arrived on the scene and got the fire under control. No one was hurt.
A woman fought off a gunman who broke into her home overnight. It happened on Sutherland Drive. Lexington police say the woman had met the man online a few months ago. Police say one of his hands was in a brace, allowing the woman to get the gun away from him and throw it out a window. Police found the man hiding in a nearby home. He faces several charges. Police have not yet released his name. A Lexington church is holding a town hall meeting to talk about crime in the city. Total Grace Baptist Church is encouraging people to stand together. They also want to create a bond between the community and law enforcement. The meeting starts tonight at 6:30 at the church.
A former University of Cincinnati police officer accused of murder wants his job back. A grand jury indicted Ray Tenzing in the shooting death of Samuel Dubose during a traffic stop earlier this month. The Fraternal Order of Police filed a grievance against University of Cincinnati, saying they violated Tenzing's contract by not giving him a pre-disciplinary conference and a copy of the formal charges. A UC spokeswoman says the university stands by its decision. A Boone County social worker who faced losing her job will be suspended for 3 days. Carrie Cooper received the punishment for checking to see if a 7-year-old girl was being mistreated after another social worker closed the case. The other social workers received a 2-day suspension for failing to address a report of abuse claims. State Representative Tom Birch, chairman of the House Health and Welfare Committee, plans a hearing on the case in October.
The FBI wants Kentuckians to help them uncover public corruption. The agency announced its End Corruption Now campaign. The initiative includes a toll-free tip line and an email address to allow people to report corruption suspicions. A billboard campaign will publicize the effort. Well, there's been a big push on Capitol Hill to arm service members at recruitment centers in light of what happened in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Congressman Jody Hice proposed his own legislation last week in the House, and so did Senator Steve Daines. As Kelly Meyer reports, it seems everyone is jumping in to get their own legislation in the ring.
I think it's very appropriate and proper for military facilities to allow their personnel to be armed.
If we can harden those sites or create better safety strategies, we should.
Lawmakers from all sides are speaking out about arming our servicemen and women at recruiting stations.
The fastest way to stop a bad guy with a gun is give a good guy a gun.
Just last week, Senator Steve Daines of Montana introduced legislation in the Senate to allow the military to authorize those who work at recruiting centers to be armed.
I think it's ridiculous that the men and women who wear the uniform, who are in our recruitment centers today, on behalf of our armed forces, are not allowed to be armed.
A day later, Congressman Jody Hice introduced his Military Recruiter Right to Carry Act in the House. 20 years ago, the Pentagon barred most servicemen from carrying firearms at military installations. Democratic and Republican members of the House from Tennessee are working to lift that.
We're in much more dangerous and volatile world now than we were in 1992.
But some at the Pentagon worry if this change could lead to additional security concerns.
Do you think arming them is the answer?
Absolutely. When you're dealing with a world of terrorists, for them to be unarmed is a very dangerous thing. And we're talking American heroes, and they need the same rights as private citizens.
Both bills are in the process of gaining support from co-sponsors, but with the House already gone for August recess and the Senate leaving next week, some are left wondering if we'll have to wait until September to see something get done.
A formerly homeless Kentuckian is now trying to get another homeless man off the street. Levi Bishop works at the GE Appliance Park in Louisville. About a month ago, he noticed Don Smith sitting at an abandoned gas station nearby. Bishop started taking Smith water and sometimes food. They also talked about how Smith became homeless.
He said he was disabled and his rent went up, and he had to make a decision whether he was going to, eat and take it or have his medicine or have a roof over his head. I've been in his shoes before. Early in my life, I was homeless.
Bishop and another worker have started a fundraiser online for Don in hopes of getting him off the street. The YMCA of Central Kentucky will hold its annual back-to-school rallies tomorrow. This is the 9th year for the rallies at local parks and churches around Lexington. During the rallies, students receive backpacks and school supplies. Organizers expect to help about 5,100 students this year. The weather finally drying up. Mosquitoes have started to thrive.
And as the number of mosquitoes grows, so does the number of people testing positive for West Nile virus. Don Champion shows us where it's a concern and how officials are keeping a close eye on the situation.
Yeah, it's very simple.
With a bucket, pipe, net, and fan, health officials in Fort Worth hope this device will help protect people from the West Nile virus.
We're trying to avoid, reduce the public exposure to the West Nile virus.
More mosquitoes in the area are testing positive, so Dr. June Lee from the University of North Texas Health Science Center has installed dozens of traps to monitor the insects. Nationwide, nearly 40 people have contracted the virus this year. Symptoms include fever, headache, body aches, and fatigue.
That occurs in about 20% of the people who get bitten by the infected mosquito, so everybody doesn't get sick. 1% get the most serious complications, encephalitis or this kind of paralytic illness. They can be long-lasting.
Sort these out.
Each week, Dr. Lee and his team test about 1,500 mosquitoes. If a sample tests positive, the city is notified.
Within 24 hours, we will be at ground zero, going door to door, talking to people on their doorstep to let them know that we've had some positive West Nile mosquitoes.
If positive tests keep coming back, the city will spray to kill the mosquitoes. Don Champion, CBS News, Fort Worth, Texas.
Experts say the end of summer increases the risk for infection. The best way to avoid exposure is to wear insect repellent if you're outdoors at dusk and dawn, and wear long pants and sleeves. You can get a haircut for a good cause this weekend.
A Lexington salon will hold a benefit for a girl injured in a sledding accident this past winter. WKYT's Deanne Stevens is out and about with how you can help. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys, from Euphoria Salon and Spa, located here in Palomar, where for some reason they're hiding all the scissors from me around here. I don't get it. Clearly, they don't want me cutting any hair. They got a busy weekend ahead of them where they are helping out Team Abby. We're going to tell you all about Abby here in just a second. But first, Miss Elizabeth, you're a stylist here. You know Abby's story. You guys decided to do this on Sunday. You're opening shop. You're not even normally open on Sunday.
No, we are closed on Sundays, but we are going to open on Sunday, August 2nd from 12 to 4 as a benefit for Abby. So come in and get your hair cut. Women's cuts, it's wet cuts. Women's cuts are 20, men 15, kids 10. So come in for your back to school haircuts and help support Abby. And
what I love about that, Elizabeth, you got to tell folks, 100% of the proceeds.
Yes, 100% of the proceeds go to Abby.
Okay, now I got to tell you about Abby because she is a very special young lady. Abby was involved in a sledding accident back in March. These are Abby's beautiful aunts, Holly and Amy Ratliff, holding a picture of Abby. Abby has a Facebook page, a GoFundMe page. Tell folks all about Abby.
She does, Abby. She's wonderful. She's our 16-year-old niece now. She turned 16 on June the 9th, so the accident was on March 5th. She's just the best. She's the sweetest girl, funny, beautiful. She's beautiful, smart, 13th in her class, athlete, basketball, soccer, loves her soccer, loves Kentucky. Loves Kentucky. So
all of that changed in a split second with this sledding accident. Talk a bit about that and how your family, how the whole community really is rallying around Abby. She is in Cynthiana now. She still needs help.
Definitely. I mean, she's home, but it's good news and bad news. She wasn't quite ready to go to the next phase, so she's still working, doing therapy every day, and that costs money, and that money is tight. I mean, it's a lot of money. There's the bed, the wheelchair, everything. So, but the community has definitely come out to support her, and our friends and family have, I don't know what to say.
Well, tell folks how she communicates now too.
At Shepherd Center, they found that she could turn her head yes and no, and she was always right. Like it was never wrong. So they came up with a system by line, then by letter, she can spell. So she's calling me out for not wearing my Team Abby shirt. Like she is in there cognitively, right. And she's so smart that it's good and bad because she knows what's going on. Right. You know, she gets it. So, but yeah, she's in there and she's fighting. She fights every day. Like she puts everything in perspective. You know, what matters, and it's friends and family, and we're blessed with some great ones. So
absolutely. Well, I know you guys are hoping everybody will jump on board and join Team Abby. Join Team Abby this weekend here at Euphoria Salon and Spa, 12 until 4. They're open specifically for this fundraiser on Sunday. 100% of the proceeds going back to Team Abby. Located in Palomar, I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Deanne. A California judge says no one gets a disputed convent overlooking Hollywood for now. A group of nuns claim they owned the property and sold it to a developer. The Archdiocese of Los Angeles claims only it can sell the convent and that it has a $14.5 million deal with Katy Perry. A judge has set up a hearing to determine who should care for the property until the case goes to trial.
Ben Affleck is considering legal action against a magazine that reported the actor was dating his children's nanny. Affleck's rep says the Us Weekly article is full of lies. The magazine claims Affleck got involved with the nanny after his marriage to actress Jennifer Garner fell apart. Affleck and Garner announced their divorce in June. After one of the wettest Julys on record, this is a nice end to the month.
So it sounds like almost a perfect weekend. And first day of August tomorrow, Jim.
That's right. And normally you would be thinking temperature should be around 90 degrees, humidity thrown in there, making it feel closer to 100. But we're not even close. Even today, we're only at 85 here in Lexington. Humidity levels are very low and very tolerable as well. 84 down the road into Richmond. We even have some low 80s showing up out there. Mount Sterling and into Somerset, both coming in at 82. That is some pretty nice stuff for the last day of July. That is amazing. And we're not much warmer on Saturday, around 84 degrees. We get into your Sunday, a little more humidity and a little more heat. We're up to 87 for a daytime high, but when you factor in the humidity, probably only makes it feel like 88, 89 degrees. Again, nothing that's earth-shattering for this time of year.
All right, let's check traffic around the area right now. Traffic is still slow on Interstate 75 in Lexington because of a crash at the 114 mile marker. Also, a number of crashes around town, including one at New Circle and Boardwalk and New Circle and Newtown Pike. There's an injury crash at Leestown Road and Yarnleton Pike. One lane of outbound North Broadway at 2nd Street is closed because of a crash as well. To become a WKYT Live driver and download the Waze app, go to WKYT.com. Under the News tab, click on Traffic for more information. A deadly visitor and a rare sight in the skies.
It's the video that will have you talking. Let's take a look at this. An unwelcome visitor slithered his way into a Houston apartment complex. A deadly albino monocled cobra somehow got into one of the apartment units. The cobra put up quite a fight when authorities tried to remove him. Armed with a taser and a broom, they finally swept the snake into a pillowcase.
Well, we will experience the phrase once in a blue moon tonight, and it doesn't have anything to do with color. According to modern folklore, whenever there are 2 full moons in one calendar month, the second one is called blue. Tonight's moon will be the second full moon of July.
A Norwegian man agreed to get married under one condition. He wanted to swim to the ceremony. The 79-year-old jumped into the sea near his home and swam to a lighthouse where his bride waited for him. He wore swim trunks and a bow tie for the big day. The man's grandchildren accompanied him on the 800-meter swim. And that is the beginning of a marriage you'll never forget.
That's right, and one healthy family. Like everybody wanted to swim.
I know, good for them. All right, on this beautiful day in Lexington, much more to come now on WKYT at 5 o'clock.